All right. Hello, fellow folks. I decided to cover this because I figured why the smeg not? And because this is a larger issue that I think needs to be talked about. So apparently, go ahead and show the screen on this one. Apparently, Pakistan's top court orders release for killer of Wall Street Journal reporter. Okay, let's take a breath. The gentleman that was released did not actually kill Daniel Pearl. Daniel Pearl was a Wall Street Journal guy, was a Wall Street Journal reporter. He was also, as you can tell by the name, he was Jewish, and that his father was Israeli by way of Poland, actually, and his mother was an Iraqi Jew. So very much, having Zionist connections. Now we have to be careful. I'm not going to sit here and, be anti-Semitic. I'm just saying is that the issues are there. Comes nearly two decades after the journalist's body was found in a shallow grave in the Pakistani port city of Karachi. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do something else, which is a bit cringe, but I think it's important to do with Daniel Pearl. I'm going to go ahead and click on his Wikipedia page, which they just updated. And, okay, so a videotape showing Pearl's beheading was sent to the U.S. consulate, came in the context of war on terror after September 11, 2001. 2-1 appeal decision was on an appeal by the Pearl family and the Pakistani government against the ruling of a provincial court last April, the Sheikh's murder conviction. So this is based on, now this is wild to me. This is like, everybody was covered up. In the video of showing, at least according to what I was looking at with Wikipedia, take it with a grain of salt, is Daniel Pearl's beheading. Everybody had a mask on. And everyone had the, balaclavas on. And the thing is, they found him because they saw a big vein in his hand. This is how they identified the killer. Biden administration had no immediate word, basically, but yeah. Sindh High Court ruled that Sheikh was guilty of kidnapping Pearl. So once again, not for killing him. I hate to be a lawyer here, but not for killing him, but for kidnapping him. Prosecutor handled Pearl family's appeal. Tells NPR that the judges ruled immediately after the lawyers finished prosecuting. Okay, let's get down to the good stuff here. Okay. Sheikh wrote that he knew who killed Pearl, identifying him as Pakistani militant Atta-ur-Rahman, or Pakistani, alias Naeem Bukhari. The AP reported that Atta-ur-Rahman was executed in connection with an attack on a paramilitary base in southern Karachi. Sheikh's lawyers, Mahmoud A. Sheikh, the two are not related, said the letter was written under duress. He did not provide further details. Colleague Sheikh Mohammed, in 2007, the alleged mastermind of September 11th, basically they're going to try to prosecute him in the United States as of last year. But Sheikh is believed to have helped lure Pearl to Karachi while he was investigating connections between Pakistani militants and the so-called shoe bomber, Richard Reed. Pearl was then kidnapped and killed. Sheikh had a history of militancy before the Pearl case. He spent years in Afghanistan, where it is believed he linked up with Al-Qaeda and at some point he filtered back into Pakistan. So here's the important thing. 2002 case surrounding Pearl's murder appeared to be rushed and clumsy. One deep dive investigation into Pearl's death by Georgetown University found prosecutors perjured evidence alongside a host of other mistakes and identified Sheikh as the mastermind of Pearl's kidnapping and murder, but said he and the other accomplices were not present when the journalist was killed. Like I say, this isn't me defending. I just want to make sure here I'm not defending this person. What I'm doing is saying that this is a very complicated issue. I'm sure, I mean, it'd be great to see these other lawyer channels on YouTube, particularly what's it, Legal Eagle, talk about this and say how, yeah, the thing is that it was rushed and it was, the evidence was crapola. And maybe they shouldn't have rushed things. It identified Sheikh as a mastermind of Pearl's kidnapping and murder, but said he and the other accomplices were not present when the journalist was killed. The investigation prompted Sheikh's lawyer to appeal his sentence, leading to the Sindh High Court overturning his murder conviction and the Supreme Court upholding that decision. This happens in the United States too. I'm sure that there are folks right now, there are folks who are using all sorts of racial things saying, oh, well, Pakistan is a backwards country. It's not advanced like the United States. This happens in the United States too. So once again, Wikipedia, take it with a grain of salt. We're going to skip down to the end here. Video of the murder. Basically said that, yeah, they forced him to say things like, yeah, my family follows Judaism. We've made numerous family visits to Israel. Here's how they found him. This is the wild thing to me. 3 suspects were caught. Indian government for the safe release. Let me see here. According to an investigative report in 2011 by Georgetown University, the Federal Bureau of Investigation used vein matching to determine that the perpetrator in the video of the killing of Pearl was most likely Muhammad. Vein matching. Identifying him through a bulging vein running across his hand that was visible in the video. Federal officials have been concerned that Muhammad's confession obtained through waterboarding would not hold up in court. They intended to use this forensic evidence to bolster their case. That is a stretch to say it's forensic evidence by saying, yeah, well, this guy's vein looks similar to that other guy's vein. Come on. That's a stretch. Even I have to say, that is a Olympic gymnasts are saying that's a freaking stretch. Oh, this guy's vein looks like that other guy's vein. Just come on. Even I have to, like I say, once again, I'm not defending this issue. I'm saying is that this type of thing happens. Is that when you taste blood in the water, you're just like, well, we're going to get a conviction regardless. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is the problem, isn't it? Pakistani official announced, Pakistan announced the last suspect involved in the murder, named John Azam, in January. John Azam, had eluded authorities for 2 decades and was responsible for terrorist attacks inside Pakistan. Once again, refused to overturn the court. Southern province of Sheikh vacated the 2007 murder conviction of Omar Said Sheikh and his 3 co-conspirators and reduced sentences to a 7-year prison term for kidnapping that will now be counted as time served. So that's what they got him for. They reduced the time down to 7 years. Like I say, people are going to criticize this, and I know they will, by saying, oh, well, Pakistan is a backwards country and the United States doesn't do that. That has happened in the United States. Do not make the foolish mistake of trying to be, xenophobic or try to say that, well, Pakistan is a backwards nation. I'm not even saying that out of any sort of, praising of Pakistan. It's just saying that, look, the thing is that the United States had bunk evidence by saying, oh yeah, well, this vein matches this person. No, that doesn't fly. U.S. Acting Attorney General releases a strongly worded statement saying that if Omar Sheikh and his co-conspirators are not held accountable in Pakistan, U.S. stands ready to take custody of Omar Sheikh to stand trial in the United States. There is already an indictment prepared in the U.S. Attorney's Office in New Jersey. Pakistan's Supreme Court dismissed an appeal against the acquittal of Ahmed Omar Saeed Sheikh in connection with the kidnapping and beheading of journalist Daniel Pearl. The court also ordered that 3 other Pakistanis who were sentenced to life in prison for their part in Pearl's kidnapping and death should also be freed. Today's decision is a complete travesty of justice, and the release of these killers puts in danger journalists everywhere and the people of Pakistan. We urge the U.S. government to take all necessary actions under the law, wink, wink, to correct this injustice. We also hope that the Pakistani authorities will take all necessary steps to rectify this travesty of justice. Ooh, man. No amount of injustice will defeat our resolve to fight for justice for Daniel Pearl, the Pearl family said in a statement released by their lawyer. So apparently there is a movie that came out about him. There is a documentary, Christian Amanpour. Oh boy, this further inflames the issue. Pearl's parents edited and published a collection of responses sent to them from around the globe entitled I Am Jewish, Personal Reflections Inspired by the Last Words of Daniel Pearl. This makes things worse. Like I say, I'm not going to be some peacenik and say, well, everything should just be perfect. But it's like when you point out that Daniel Pearl was beheaded because he was Jewish in a Muslim nation. It would be wise not to publish a book called I Am Jewish, Personal Reflections Inspired. Like I said, this upsets people more. Why would you do that? I'm sure that somebody came to them and said, well, yeah, you should do this book. My father is Jewish. Yeah, my mother is Jewish. I am Jewish. The family has written that it understands this last detail authenticates Daniel's own voice and demonstrates his willingness to claim his identity. Once again, this just, it furthers the divide. And it keeps everybody in the trenches, so to speak, instead of trying to meet somewhere in the middle in no man's land and trying to make some sort of peace to say, yes, that was an awful thing, but let's see if we can try to, maybe that's too much of a peacenik attitude, but it's like when you do that to buck the trend and say, well, yeah, he was Jewish. When you do that, you reinforce the idea of when worst comes to worst, my peoples come first. When you do that, at least in my view, when you say that. And you have all these various folks. Yeah, Ed Koch requested his own tombstone be inscribed with Pearl's words, my father is Jewish, my mother is Jewish, I am Jewish. Ugh. So we see how this stuff goes back and forth. Like I say, y'all can feel free to disagree, but this is part of my pseudo-journalistic video series, which y'all may or may not disagree. Y'all may agree with or disagree with, and either way, that is fine. You don't have to agree, but I hope y'all enjoyed that video, and I hope that y'all will. You know what? Well, maybe I'll put some links to that article, but yeah, basically look up this stuff about Daniel Pearl and see what else is going on behind the scenes. And I'm sure that there are all sorts of folks who are talking about this. I hope you'll enjoy that. See you later. Goodbye.